Hello students, in this video we're going to talk about costing inventory using a perpetual inventory system, and the first one that we're going to look at is FIFO. In a perpetual inventory system we use an inventory cost card, and this actually serves as the subsidiary ledger for your inventory account for the general ledger. Okay, so I'm going to actually use the data from exercise 7-9, and I'll be working 7-9 through 11. This one that I'm doing now actually is exercise 7-10. All three of them use the same data from 7-9. Okay, so this is a cost sheet that we have here, and our beginning inventory on January the 1st, we had 8,000 units at a unit cost of $40 or $320,000. And then the first thing that happened in the exercise, on April the 19th, we sold 5,000 units. Now normally we would be looking at the layers to see which layer we're going to use first, but in this case we only had one layer, so we know the inventory is going to be costed out at $40, so that's 5,000 times 40 or 200,000. And then of course we will bring down what we have left. We will just actually subtract what we used from what we had. We had 8,000, we sold 5,000, that left us 3,000 units at 40, and now we have a balance in our inventory of 120,000. Okay? The next thing that happened in the exercise, we purchased inventory, 12,000 units at 48, or 576,000. Now we need to come up with what we have today, what inventory we have today. So let's not forget that we have that 3,000 units today, so we'll bring that down. Always repeat it. If you don't, you will get in trouble, because somewhere along the line you'll mess up. Okay, and then to that we're going to add the 12,000 units, and that was at 48. So now we have two layers. We have one layer, 3,000 at 40 and 12,000 at 48. Okay, and you leave them in layers based on how the inventory was purchased and what was left from what was sold. Okay, looking at our exercise, the next thing we have is a sale of 9,000 units on September the 2nd, but we've got to determine how to cost out that inventory. Since we're using FIFO, we will be looking at the top layer, first in, first out. The first items that came in are the first items that were sold. So we're looking for the cost of merchandise sold in this exercise. We will be looking at the top layer for FIFO. So we're going to take 3,000, that whole layer, at 40 or 120, but we need to cost out 6,000 more because our sale was for 9,000. We're going to take the 6,000 from that layer. That is 6,000 at 48 or 288,000. Okay, now when we get over to what's left in inventory, we do not have any of this layer left. So we look at this layer, we took 6,000 from it, we have 6,000 left at 48. So now we're back to one layer. And that's 288,000. Okay, I want to caution you too, when you're using these cost sheets, make sure on the cost sheet that you cost out the inventory and put the cost in this column, not the sales price. So many students have taken the sales price from a problem and put it in here, and it means absolutely nothing. They give you the sales price so you can come up with the gross profit. Sales minus cost of merchandise sold equals gross profit. But do not put the sales price on the cost sheet. Make sure you calculate the cost. That's what this is for. Okay? Okay. The next thing that happens on November the 15th, we had a purchase of 2,000 units at $50. You can see that the cost is going up, and that would be 100,000. So we still have the 6,000. So we're going to add that over here at 48, 288,000. And then we're going to add in the 2,000 layer at 50 or 100,000. So these two layers are actually what we have left in ending inventory, or a total of $388,000. Cost of merchandise sold, you can simply add this up now, and you got $608,000. I told you in the last video we could use the periodic formula to test this inventory. So I don't have room here, but I'll tell you how to do it. Take your beginning inventory of $320,000, add to it the purchases of $676,000, get your merchandise available for sale, subtract the $608,000 of cost of merchandise sold, and see if you get $388,000. If you do, you've tested your inventory cost sheet and you see that it is correct. Okay, that is FIFO. Now let's look at LIFO. Let's change this to LIFO. Using the same information, this would be exercise 711. Alright, now everything's going to be the same down to this point because we had beginning inventory of 8,000 units, and when we sold the 5,000 we only had one layer. So everything down to this point here is going to be the same. Where it's going to change is when we sell the 9,000 units. So let's erase this, erase these totals, erase this, and this, and everything else will remain the same. Okay, so we began on January the 1st with 8,000 units at 40 per unit. We purchased, or actually we sold 5,000 units, so we have 3,000 units at 40. The price has not changed. Then we have the purchase on June the 30th at 48, so now we have two layers, 3,000 at 40 and 12,000 at 48. Now, on September the 2nd, let me go to LIFO here, we actually sold 9,000 units. Now LIFO assumes that the last items that come in are the first items that are sold. So therefore you're going to be looking at the bottom layer. And be careful when you move these layers down to keep them in order that they were purchased. It's real tricky. It gets real tricky. Sometimes you get confused. So be very careful. Okay, you got 12,000 here. So you can take all 9,000 from that layer, 9,000 at 48, and that is 432,000. So you took all of the 9,000 that you sold from that layer. Now you're going to bring your layers down, I just said, and remember, bring them down in the order that they were purchased. Nothing happened to the 3,000 at 40. It remains the same. But you've got to reduce the 12,000 by the 9,000 sales, so you've got 3,000 left in that layer at 48. And that is 144,000. Be very careful with LIFO. It will trick you up. Now we had a purchase of 2,000 at 50, so we've got to bring that down. Those two layers, remember to keep them in the order that they were purchased, so that's 3,000 at 40, 120,000, 3,000 at 48, 144,000, and how many did we purchase over there? 2,000 at 50, or 100,000. Now to get your total inventory, you're just going to add those three up, and you will get 364,000. You can see that it's different from what we had before. To get your cost of merchandise sold, you just add those two amounts, and you get 632,000. Okay, so that's LIFO. I hope I have enough time left on the video here. We don't like to make them too long, to go through moving average. So I'm just going to move right on. You can move back in the video or stop the video if you need to see these numbers. But I'm going to go back. I'll have to actually go back to when we made, well, the purchase right here. Okay, because with moving average I've got to change the amounts. So I'll take away all of these, the total, and that total will remain the same. Now with moving average, we're going to change the ending inventory unit cost every time we make a purchase. Okay? So, here we had one layer, 8,000 at 40. We sold it at 40 because we didn't have anything else, and we're really only going to have one layer, but we didn't have any other costs. But here we added 48 to it. So what we're going to do now is add the units. Let me get to my moving cost here. Let's see, we had 8,000 units and we had 3,000. Now we've got 15,000 units, so we add those units together. And we add the 120 and the 576 together to get 696. And then divide the 15,000 into 696,000 to get the average unit cost, and it comes up to 4640. So that's what we're going to be using until we have our next purchase. So on this sale of 9,000 units, we're going to cost it out at 4640, and that will be a total of 417,600. So from that sale, after that sale, we have 6,000 units left. Since we haven't made a purchase, our average cost will be the same. And that's 6,000 times 4640, or 278,400. Okay? Now we have a purchase on November the 15th of 2,000 at 50, so we're going to add the 2,000 units to the 6, so that makes 8. We're going to add the 100,000 to the 278,400, that makes 378,400. We're going to divide 8,000 into 378,400 to get an average of 4730. Okay? So that's what our average cost is at the end when we finish. So now we're going to add the total cost of merchandise sold is 617,600. Our inventory is simply 378,400 because we simply multiplied the units 8,000 by the average cost of 4730 to get 378,400. Again, you can test it as I said before. Beginning inventory 320 plus purchases 676 minus cost of merchandise sold 617,600 should equal 378,400. All we're doing is splitting the goods available for sale between the merchandise sold and the ending inventory. That's what we're doing. And I hope that this helps you a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.